Imagine having a reverse Yelp, where we rate customers on their attitudes, manners, and how well they tip. What review would you leave? Adaresh walked into the store and complained that outside Adaresh filled of gasoline. I told her we would address that issue as soon as an employee became available to do so. Customer is apparently unaware they are pumping gas at a gas station when complaining about the scent of gas. Perhaps she could consider not huffing it while filling her tank. I worked at a gas station for like 7 years through high school and college, and oh my god, why are people like this unfair? Then on the flip side you have people out there huffing it like there's no tomorrow and come in and say I love the smell of gas, or you know came in, ordered, ate their food in silence, left minimal mess and a reasonable tip, then buggered off. My perfect customer, 5 stars. This is my husband and I when we have a night out. Lol. We are usually too tired from the week and all our other obligations to be very exciting dinners, so we sit there quietly and send memes to each other, then get dessert to go. Apparently the basic front desk bell is too complicated of a mechanism to operate for this person. Also demanded that I reduce her rate because we ran out of complimentary coffee and she couldn't wait the 2 minutes it would take me to make a new pot. Insulted the housekeepers. 20 stars. This is the exact type of person who will also leave a ranting Yelp review on the lack of coffee and poor housekeeping. Nice, pleasant man. Always orders the same sandwich every time, making preparing for him simple despite the complicated sandwich. Tips well. Never talks longer it takes to complete his order. Also, the only male regular over 50 that doesn't leer at my underage coworker. 5 stars. A customer walked in the front door of my very closed, curbside only pub today and asked if we had any steak. He had to ignore a giant sign saying, "Please stay outside, we will bring your phone/online order out to you." 0 out of 5 stars. I almost had a rage stroke. Edited to add, this is the second time I've done it. One of the regulars at the DQ did this too. The doors were locked but I try every day. Found out he had dementia. If it's an older man, he may have an excuse, even if he doesn't know/can't remember. She lied about her hair history, wanted white blonde in one session on her virgin dark hair that the strand test determined was a lie. Said she could do it herself at home, turned hair orange instead. Came back to get a color correction, and after explaining why she couldn't have blonde, she said she'd settle for anything but orange and lighter than the dark. Gets a beautiful chocolate/caramel color and cries because it's not blonde and too expensive, and also leaves no tip. -5 stars. Not worth my time. The lady who yelled at me on the second day of my first job over the price of milk can have a solid 1 star. Came on opening weekend of one of the biggest movies of the year 5 minutes before the showtime, and then was shocked they'd have to stand in line for their concessions. Then complained to management that they missed their movie. Like, what did they think was going to happen? Like we'd have a reserve placed in line for them because of their obvious VIP status as King Dowager Lord of Asland. Brought infant to rated R movie, then complained that it was too scary and demanded a refund. 0 stars. Guy comes in the middle of the festival, no reservation, by car, and blames me because it took him 2 hours to go the entrance of the city to my hotel because there are 200,000 people walking around the streets and police barrages to help the flow of pedestrians. Then he blames me again because he did all of this for nothing because we are full. What did he think would happen? Walking in with no reservation during the city's largest festival. 1 star. Would not recommend. Chap comes into the packed restaurant on Thursday. Heller's mad as hell because various local roads are shut and it took him an hour to get here instead of 10 minutes. Does not have a reservation. Has his whole family with him. His wife breaks down in tears while Heller's yelling at me for not posting on Facebook that we are full for lunch. I get the wife and his mother in while he rings restaurants to get a table. They finally leave and the wife hands me a tip. I believe they ended up waiting for a table in Mandoers. 0 stars for him, 3 stars for the wife. Drunken fool tried to return half bottle of booze because it artist's offer. Watch him get in his car and promptly called police to report drunken driver. I love it. Perfect. The drunk fuck. Very polite but also incredibly awkward for some reason. Damn, this is me. Makes me think of the Black Mirror episode where everyone has a social score and others can see it. Yeah, that was a nice episode. By nice I mean no big sex or murderers caught in a torture loop. I ended up not watching all of them. It got to be too much. Literally hunkered down in the basement with the gunman upstairs, detectives on the phone, another, pregnant, crying, customer and all the stuff, and this jackass still had the nerve to ask if his watch was done being repaired before the first shot rang out, then proceeded to scream at the detectives that this was a huge inconvenience. He had clients waiting at court and needed this to be over with. Sorry sir, I'll go upstairs and nicely tell the gunman to please stop because you have somewhere to be. I'll gladly risk my life for you. A giant douche. On a different note, I am sorry that happened. Gal, she practically drinks all the salsa, and I keep having to give her refills. Her chip to salsa ratio is seriously questionable. Otherwise, she's nice enough. Edit. I misread the question. I thought it asked what review would someone leave of me. I'm the salsa lover. Chips are bullshit, salsa is everything. I just wish the lady that cuts my hair would discreetly tell me if I'm a good tipper or not. Edit. While I'm at it, how much goes on the tip line of a takeout receipt? I'm just making that shit up as I go. Totally not ready for reverse Yelp. You are the type of person who would do well on reverse Yelp. Stupid cunt kept trying to order a cheeseburger without cheese, even though I was trying to save her money by suggesting to instead order a hamburger. Fast forward 30 seconds, and she paid for the cost of a cheeseburger, but without the cheese. I hope she choked on it. 1 star. Threw a drink at my lead 0/10ths get fucked sideways with a par leaks you fucking afterbirth. Poetry right there. This stupid old man threw a tantrum over canned noodles. I told him it was on the shelf, but he insisted there were bags in the boxes on top. I told him the boxes were full of the same canned brand, but he didn't listen and started to cause a scene. I went to get my card with a step stool on it to show him, but he started hitting his card yelling, "Damn it." I got so angry I ripped the box off the top shelf and cans everywhere. He just said, "Guess they were cans," and walked off. 20 minutes later he comes back and buys the cans 0/10ths. Becky and Judy, 5 stars. After 2 glasses of Tempranillo, Judy is going to order a half glass. Ask if she went to physical therapy today for her shoulder. If she did, give her the full glass. Becky will wink at you. This is wholesome and I love it. This girl was clearly having a bad day. She seemed really angry and upset. I tried my best to help, but there wasn't much I could do. I took her order, served her as usual. She got a call and walked out of the restaurant. I went to the table and found a $50 bill and a sweet little note about how her husband died, and she really appreciates my patience. 5 stars. Best customer. You sound like a nice employee. 1 star. Took a shit in the sink. As a business owner, you have no fucking idea how badly I want this. I know it's literally like the storyline of a Black Mirror episode, and I realize how badly it can turn. But FFS, I've dealt with some truly insane and miserable, as well as a few miserable insane people. People treat you like you're a robot. Beep boop, I'm a business robot man. Everything is always your fault. The second you say anything that doesn't sound like pre-scripted customer service speak, you're being unprofessional. I'm starting to identify more and more with the soup Nazi. No soup for you. Uber has a system like this where they rate passengers. I like it. It means good customers get full ratings and are more likely to get drivers responding to them. Bad customers will go to the back of the line. I'm proud to say that I'm a 5.0 star passenger, which really isn't that big an accomplishment. It just means that I was well behaved and sat there like a normal person while they drove me to my destination. That's all it takes. Customer service swings both ways in my opinion. Good customers should get good service. Bad customers should be given the bare minimum or thrown out if they are abusive or disruptive. That is what I did when I worked retail. You were nice, I'd bend over backwards for you. If you were an asshole, I would do the absolute bare minimum. But then, I was fortunate that my retail job was just extra cash and I didn't really need it. After not reading our cards only sign, she tried to pay in cash. After being informed we couldn't take cash, she threw a temper tantrum and cursed us out 0.5 stars. A stupid bitch ordered a frappuccino with no ice, then proceeded to be pissed at us there were no ice in it. When we asked her if she wanted ice, she screamed at us and said no. I hope she stubs her toe every day for the rest of her life and she gets cheated on. I would give 0 stars, but Yelp makes me give 1, so I guess good job at wasting space. Who? Such customers honestly make me wonder if they just didn't listen to themselves, are not mentally there, or are following a plot I don't get. I've talked about this idea many times. It would be so magical. I greeted the table, and they didn't even look at me. They just said, water. So I get their waters and their food order, which was difficult because they asked a million questions that could have been answered by reading the menu. That's what it's there for. Then when I'm trying to deliver the food, no one was paying attention and they couldn't remember what they even ordered. They were just overall kind of rude and annoying, but they left 18%, so that's better than what I thought they were going to leave. 3/5 stars. Can't really recommend. Started out okay, but interaction quickly declined when customer was mildly inconvenienced by new guidelines put in place due to an ongoing global pandemic. Should have spoken to manager about abysmal behavior. Lost faith in customers as a brand. Won't be using again until my bosses make me, because their money is more important than my safety. If I'm essential, how come they get to treat me like freshly churned peacock shit? 0.10 stars. Horrible idea. Massive design flaws. I've seen mine. I have a pool hall that I have been haunting regularly for 7 years. I'm known well enough that I never leave any form of collateral when I run a tab. Sometimes one server will start my tab for another if they are tied up briefly. Sometimes they switch sections mid-shift. Sometimes the server is new or rarely works the shifts that fall upon my clockwork patronage. For whatever reason, there is a standing parenthetical note next to my name in their post system. I highly doubt it is unique to me. I make it a point to be courteous, friendly, patient, even though they are often neglectful and loiter around the bar far too much, and I never hit on them or mistake their friendliness for flirtation, because it's super shitty to harass a person who is cornered by a job that requires them to be nice to you. Sometimes I settle up at the pose and I get a glance and insight into how they view me deep down. Dream Rocky tips. I find this amusing because I've worked in enough pool halls to know that this is actually notable intel to share with coworkers. I work in a non-profit performing arts theater, and despite what people think, cancelling shows isn't as easy as saying it's cancelled. Even if you're producing it, the board has to approve it, including the playwright and director. The unions involved have to be made aware of the situation and agree to the plan, and then you have to pay the salaries of everyone involved in full, even though there's no show. It's a long process with a lot of moving parts, and these fucking ungrateful rich folks sitting on their lily white asses keep calling and emailing our call center, where I work, to passive aggressively tell us off for not cancelling shows fast enough, and demanding refunds on tickets/donations, and then claiming they'll never come again, because we don't care about them and their well-being. Some of them are even straight up racist and threatening the theater. Rating is -10. These low-class fucktits make early 2000s Paris Hilton and THR Kardashians look sane. Family came into the restaurant today and ordered a good amount of sushi rolls and some chicken hibachis. There was no problem with their payment or their demeanor at first, but be careful. Looks can be deceiving. As soon as we provided their kids with forks, they started flinging rice at each other. Parents didn't even bat an eye, like this was a normal thing, so I'm sure they have done this at other places too. They left the area around them looking like the kids were playing Splatoon and trying to cover as much surface area as they could with rice. Didn't leave a tip for the mess I was left to clean up, and didn't even give an apology. Would not recommend serving this family while their inklings are around. This is the second time today I've read this. Both times I've been livid at these people. Parent is both a noun and a verb. Parent those children. This bitch lives in the apartment building all the way at the back of the complex, which spans acres, populated by dozens of the worst speed bumps you can imagine. Like they'll tear up your car's suspension if you go over them faster than walk speed. Now she texts me, saying to drop off her food at the door and leave it there, because she wants a contact-free delivery. Fine. I get to the building, but there is no apartment 109 in this building. Call her, no answer. Text, no answer. Why in the name of all that is holy would you not answer your phone after placing an expensive order for food delivery? Couldn't get an answer, so I'm having a Thai feast tonight, bitch. Usually I give the food to beggars, but yeah, not always. I live in an apartment complex and my apartment is in the very back, and the apartments are laid out in an entirely nonsensical fashion. I get such anxiety ordering because of stuff like this, and every time the delivery person feels the need to tell me how hard it was to find the apartment. I put detailed directions every time, but they always get lost. I really don't know what else to do. It is really frustrating. The curly-haired young guy with glasses and a baggy skater vibe dress sense clearly smokes hella weed, comes in high and orders food, and is always just so polite, like as polite as a customer can get. Sits on a chair and waits for his order, and has this stupid smile on his face staring at nothing like 3 times a week. I don't know you, but I love you bro.